So, in our last class, we saw how this pranayama, asana pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi gives benefit to us. While discussing also, we discussed in the verse number 16 especially that how one should achieve that. So first being in Siddhasana, while inhaling, now bringing the apana along with the prana, now slowly brings up. So retaining, holding, placing for some time in the heart, in Anahata chakra, so that settling all the accounts. Now slowly the person brings up to the Sahasrara. And while discussing this, so clearly it highlighted only once the person goes to that, definitely that person, he uses this word, Vishesha Tattva Shamatam Yati Iti. And how? Tanmayaha. So this Yogishwara, the master of yoga, a yogi or master and yogi. So what does he do? He says he becomes Tanmayaha. So Tanmaya means what? That ness, fully absorbed in that. So that means there is nothing, only one thing exists. And of course, Vishesha Tattva Samatam Yati, of course, becomes what? One with the totality. Now, when this happens, then how to know? And is there any signal? Because everything we look for, shortcut and hint, signal, because we are so dumb, nothing enters, okay? It's like, I remember in those days, I can give this Orissa example, very good example. Like, especially new married lady, later on don't ask, okay? So when newly married lady, when comes to a new house, so there are a lot of protocols to be followed. And the best part is, so we'll have some bangles. So when she starts walking, she will make sure, and also pile that, on the ankle there will be that silver one. So the moment she starts walking, even if other people also become, conscious and cautious both. Okay, she is coming. So that, give respect to get respect. So as she comes in, so she announces. Nowadays don't ask me, okay? So after marriage, next day we'll find out the girl with Bermuda, okay? That's another level. Let us not discuss that, okay? So neither I give respect nor I get back. That's another point. But here, so is there anything, I can come to know? Please read. Gaganam pavane prapte. I have sent all of you. If you can download, okay? I hope you have seen. Gaganam pavane prapte. Dhvani rutpadyate mahan. Ghanta adina pravadyanam. Tada siddhira dhurataha. He says, look, as you keep practicing, yada, the time comes when. So what that happens, how it happens? Pavane gavanik prapte. So this pavanam means the pranavayu. So this pranavayu, when it goes to gagana, so gagana means space. Space here, susumna ityartha. So instead of taking the ida and pingala, now the prana starts moving through susumna. because I know when I'm talking, if you don't practice, you will not understand head or tail out of it. This becomes another academical, okay? However, so when it get into this susumna, then what happens? It says, look, as it starts, you will be able to hear different type of dhonis, different type of sounds. He uses this word, ghantadina pravadhyana. So this how this ghanta, bell baj, that resonance. And from this Buddhist people and other people have picked up nowadays, bell, they sells, boom, boom, you understand? And all the meditation. Can you see how one word has destroyed and created a huge market in the West? Because you need a product to sell. And once you sell product, then what happens? See, why yoga was not earlier popular in India? Let us be very careful and clear. Actually, in India, earlier there was no popularity in yoga at all. Because it was restricted to practice. There was no exhibition, there was no commercial. There was no gathering. Now first, let us say, Yogananda. So what he did, he created a group, he created a package called Kriya Yoga. And that clicked very well. And parallelly, also Maharshi Mahesh Yogi. You must know the background of everything. Because I am talking to you student, okay? Hoping not to misuse or abuse all this information. And if you misuse or abuse, it's your problem, not my problem. Because as a teacher, my job is to talk when I am talking here. Outside, I don't have any issue. In the class, I have problem with everybody, including with myself. So, here he says that. So, parallelly, Swami Yogananda, to whom you call as Paramahamsa Yogananda, but actually he is Swami Yogananda, because he used Paramahamsa to market himself. And also Maharshi Mahesh Yogi. So what they did, they brought packaging. And Maharshi Mahesh Yogi very carefully associated some marketing tools in that. They know, like pillow selling, this selling, Ganga water selling, this selling, lot of things he did it. And it clicked. Same thing also, Yogananda, what he did, so created imaginary guru, Babaji, for that also there is a lot of things. Because in India, anything and everything is possible. I'll give you a beautiful example. I have also written a book on that too. Like, Santoshima doesn't exist. Mother Santoshi doesn't exist. So one person, Mr. Sharma, because of his wife to please her, created a movie in 70s. And that movie became very big hit. After that, Santoshi joined in the Hindu goddesses. On Friday, especially today, everybody does Santoshi Puja. So also, if we look at all this imaginary, whatever momentum takes place, people say, yeah, in fact, I have seen this thing, this was saying, that was saying, they create. Okay, that is their problem. Then coming to the point, later on, as some of the Swamijis started doing it here and there, then they had to present carefully. And also, then along with that, Swami Vishnu, who wrote complete illustrated book on yoga, which was very popular. For many years, it was bestseller. And because of which, so there what he did, he created a group practice. And of course, he did not violate anything. He gave basics. And he was clear in that. Then other Swamis, I am talking about popular ones. Then slowly, this Kriya, That Kriya, because from Kriya Yoga, then people, other person thought, why not? So let me bring out another Kriya. Somebody said, no, this Sambhavi, re-engineering, this, that. Then finally, whatever little bit was there, our great Swami Baba Ramdev, so he openly came out with a business plan. All we are doing in a subtle way. Just observe this point. Whereas Baba Ramdev, openly he came. And now, in fact, there is no teaching, nothing. Now his yoga is mainly focusing how to sell products than anything else. What I am highlighting here is, this is the point. From this Ghanta, I went everywhere. That how a small word can create a market. And because of market, how many people get associated with you and creates a moment. This much I want to communicate. I am not here to criticize anybody. Baba Ramdev is great. He has contributed a lot. Maharshi Mahesh Yogi has contributed a lot. He was great. Yogananda Paramahamsa was great because he has inspired millions of people through the book, biography of Yogi. I may agree, may not agree. That's my personal problem. But what he has done, we have to acknowledge, or else it is really bad. So whosoever name I mentioned earlier, all of them have contributed, no doubt in it. Some way or other, in their way. Nothing wrong in it. But what I am highlighting here is the background of it. How it happened. So here, this is being highlighted very carefully. That this Ghantadina, as you start practicing, you start hearing, you start listening to the sounds. So what is the sound? This is what called anahata sound actually. So anahata means there is no break. Continuously you keep. Now, oh, I heard anahata sound. How can you hear anahata sound? That's why we say, to understand this anahata sabdam, come to Mother Ganga. So listen to that sound continuously, without any break, continues. So that is background music. So also here it says Ghantadinam, very nicely. What happens? Pravadyanam, related to that. Also other instrument, resonance, that sometimes you be that it continues. Sometimes you feel, I remember, maybe my eardrum has gone away. You'll feel that eardrum has gone away. That's why there is some hole, maybe that's why you are hearing. Then finally you go to ENT, nothing has happened, don't worry, go. Then you'll say, no, there is a hole in your mind, not in your ear, okay? How? Here, when that starts happening in your life, then you understand, you are nearer to Siddhi. So Siddhi is not far away from you. This is the problem here. Then you imagine, okay? I am hearing anahata. I started hearing this, I hearing that. Then you start questioning. Then finally, you create your cocoon. And you, like, I remember in our childhood, we do it. Because we learned how to tell lies. It's big, learning. And that we learn from our parents indirectly, okay? I'm sorry to say. Parents, the siblings, they are the cause of. Because you have to survive. Suppose if the parents are good, whatever you have done, you come and tell. Parents don't punish you, don't judge you. They accept your mistake, allow to grow and communicate. No, it's not good. You will never tell a lie. Why? What is the necessity? But if the parents are stupid, they are in their own world, or they are arrogant or ignorant, whatever. So you have to survive. So in order to survive, what you do? So you have to tell lie. So when you start learning to tell lie, first few times you will get caught. Because we are not, what do you call, practice properly, we are not, that you call master. So once we do the mastery, what happens? Like many men do, tell lies in front of their wife. In the beginning they get caught. Later on what happens? Bluntly, okay? Without blinking the eyes, they tell lie. Yes or no? Huh? I remember all are recorded, okay? I'm going to give this record to your wives, okay? So they will listen to and see your expression, okay? Anyway, joke apart. It's just all these jokes I create to make your mind light. But I am not here, to criticize anybody or anything. That's not my purpose at all, please. All are good, all are doing their way. Here, what we say that, same thing also, when you hear that I have to hear the sound, whether it's bell, resonance or any other music, then you start imagining and you get into that cocoon. That is not healthy. And I have seen many sadhakas, they get into this. That's why there we say the guidance of the teacher is must. We'll see later on as it goes, okay? Thank you. Continuing. Now question will arise. Okay, if this is the case, then I would like to know that what will happen if I practice properly and if I don't practice properly, or with the guidance of the teacher, without the guidance of the teacher. Continue. Pranayamena yuktena sarvarogakshayo bhavet ayukta abhyasa yogena sarvarogasya sambhavah. Beautifully presents this. One should really remember this verse very carefully. Mainly he highlights pranayama. Yuktena pranayamena sarva roga kshaya bhavetiti. If a person practices pranayama carefully, clearly, in keeping with, yukta means in keeping with, properly, in keeping with the teaching, properly guided. So with that practice, the person will be able to destroy all sort of diseases. Sarva roga kshaya bhavati. So the destruction of all diseases takes place. This is the result. But just opposite, ayukta abhyasa yogena sarva rogasya sambhava. If it is practiced wrongly, remember, all sort of diseases can come. If practiced rightly, correctly, guided properly, it can destroy all diseases. If it is wrongly, it can bring back all disease. In fact, there is one great yogi. So his face is like this. Because earlier days he practiced wrongly. But he knows how to market. He will say, no. Because my face was earlier much more, I practiced, so that's why it has been corrected. So there is a marketing strategy, okay? So each one has got their own problem. So this is what we always highlight. This pranayama to be practiced under the guidance, not seeing YouTube. And the worst thing nowadays, what people practice pranayama through this Zoom class. Disaster. So after this Zoom class, online pranayama class, please, at least nothing wrong in it. I don't want to discourage because everything nowadays is online. But you will not be able to understand the prana. At least see the person carefully, clearly. And after 3-4 pranayam class, one class should be physically. Not only on Zoom. To me, I am sorry, I cannot accept it. Yes, after a few classes, you can observe. what the person is doing, how is doing, what is happening, what is not happening. Suppose imagine here, even if also now you all will practice, I may not be able to see everybody properly. And that too you will put your face only visible. What I will be able to make out? And if you keep the camera far away, I cannot visualize either. Look at the practical aspect. Yes, it is convenient, no doubt in it. Convenient and practical aspect you need to look at very carefully. You understand what I am trying to highlight? And once, of course, you know the trick and technique, this is, just doing practice regularly, because alone I don't feel like doing it. That is a different thing altogether, nothing wrong in it. This is good. Use the technology. Not learning from online, ending up with online and become a teacher on online. You understand nowadays what is happening? Online TTC. Disaster. Hey, what is this online TTC? Somebody said, look, Swamiji, I am going to India. I said, for what? For 2 weeks I will be in India, so I hang around Rishikesh and somewhere, I will come back and I am a yoga teacher. Now I am not telling you jokes. Many people do that. And they'll say, I studied in Rishikesh, I studied in Varanasi, I studied in Himalaya, not Uttar Pradesh, Himalaya. I studied in South India, North India, East India, all India. And people believe. So that is what you have to be very careful. If the pranayama is practiced wrongly, it can create any sort of disease in you. Continuing. What are the diseases? Hikka kasastatha swasah. Shira karnakshi vedana. Bhavanti vividha roga. Pavanasya vyatikramat. So he gives a few diseases or few disalignment. So one is very popular, common, hiccup. So hiccups. In fact, bleaching comes, lot of gas comes, you feel very uncomfortable. Sometimes because of this thing, back pain comes. So all are related to that. Then you say, no, I hurt other places. No, not necessarily. It's because of wrong pranayama. Kasha, cough. So that means in hikka, you make the air tattva, that kapha vata pitta, vata tattva becomes predominant. In kasha, kapha portion becomes predominant. And then he says, not only that, swasa. So, swasa also breathing problem. And not only that, Sira Karnakshi Vedana. Swasa I have not translated here. So Sira, Swasa is there. Breathlessness is there, correct. Tatha Swasa. So related to breathing. And Sira Karnakshi Vedana. So you will have headache. You will have ear pain. And sometimes also you will have eyes will start burning. So he just enumerates cha, I am adding it cha, and many other things that you can find out by yourself. And how it happens is pavanasya vyatikramat vividha roga bhavanti. So because of the pranavayu that is in you, that is vyatikrama. So vyatikrama means some type of disturbance, disorder, disalignment. And because of which, what happens? All sort of diseases appear. Now I am really scaring you all, okay? That's why what is to be done? He says, look, read. Yatha simho gajo vyagraha bhavet vasya shani shani anyatha hanti yoktaram tatha vayurasevitah. So he gives a very traditional example. Do you know, sometimes people go for hunting, finally they get hunted. Nowadays, sometimes I see it, in AI, very nice things. All this cock and hen, they are now taking the human body and putting in the fire. They are cooking. A lot of AI, okay? These animal lovers, they are started creating. So pigs, they start picking up human beings. It's really nice to observe, watch. Because how human beings destroy animals, how the animal starts, also wants to enjoy the human flesh. Like that. Here he says, look, people love to go for hunting. But if they are not well equipped, not well trained, not well planned, what happens? So instead of hunting animal, they get hunted. So instead of bringing the tiger head to hang on the wall, so the fellow's head is in the tiger's stomach. How beautiful it is. So he says, look, yatha singha gajaha vyagraha bhavet vasya sani sani. How we do? Yatha, how? The singha, the lion. Vyagraha, gaja means elephant. Vyagraha, this tiger. Sani sani, slowly. There is a method. There is no hurry at all. To catch a gaja, elephant, sometimes they have to wait a month, dig a big pit. And how to, attract that, especially male one, and put in the pit, not to give feed. Then will be weaker, then will they catch, then will they train. It's a big process, not overnight. Or else what will happen? He says, anyatha hanti yuktaram. If you don't do this thing, if you come hurry, then what happens? Instead of you, training, I won't say hunting, instead of you training, don't worry, the tiger starts training you. And how does the tiger will train you? You know better. So trainer will not be available at all. And of course elephant doesn't eat. So elephant will make sure all your bones, in one time. Grrrr. However, as that happens, so also tatha vayuhu asevitaha. This is a beautiful point to observe. So what happened is, so that is how also one is supposed to look at the vayu. Unless the person looks at in this way, definitely the person will not be able to proceed further. More of it we'll see. Om